Like, no, that's another sign for me. I cannot do this city anymore. But the truth of the matter is, Cape Town has history, and that history will still remain. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've actually made a video. I decided to leave the city of Cape Town to move to Johannesburg. I had the privilege of living in the township. I also had the privilege of living in the burbs. That's what they call it. A lot of black people that I know, they work hard to go to school. They work hard in their jobs so that they can actually leave the township to live in these neighborhoods. And I was also in the process of doing exactly the same, but in the way that I was pursuing living in these neighborhoods was not a natural way of doing things, like going to school and working hard in school, getting a fancier job that pays you well so that you can live and maybe get a born house. I was not following that path directly. But for some reason in my life, I found myself living in Greenpoint in Cape Town CBD. And, as a content creator, one of my dream was to work hard, right? I was watching these young girls on this platform. They had these luxurious apartments, and how they managed to actually live in these apartments was through content creation. And I remember since 2020, I was working very hard to actually realize that dream of living in those condos, because I thought at least if I had secured the bag of being a content creator, I can actually manage to move up east and actually realize my other dreams that I had. So I worked so hard, but for some reason, content creation was just not sticking around. I was very inconsistent with it, but I managed to live in these neighborhoods. I lived in Greenpoint for 8 months, and I had my little routine, jogging, going to the Greenpoint Park. I also lived in Woodstock, and it was not what I thought it was going to be, because I also had the luxury of living in what you call this park, Paul Druckenstein. The neighborhood was very small, and it was very nice to live there. I was there for work purposes, right? And I was there for 3 months. I'm not gonna lie, I was there for a very short time. And Paul was one of those places I came to a conclusion that I would actually come back to live. If I were to secure the bag, Paarl would be a place I would first look for a house, a smaller house for myself or a bigger house for a family if I ever want one in future. So Paarl is the one place in the Western Cape that has stolen my heart. Of course, I have not explored everything in Paarl that it has to offer, but the one place that I was in, it was great, but not that great. You know what I mean? It has its own tension. You understand what I mean? You cannot be comfortable 100%. You understand? You're still like, oh, you understand what I mean? But what I'm trying to say is the goal was to work hard and get into these neighborhoods, and I did. I thought leaving the township would be, great. You understand? You finally live in these neighborhoods. You can wake up and jog at 5 a.m. without having to worry about your safety. And it was not what I thought it was going to be. And as I was living in these neighborhoods, I kept feeling like something was missing. That's what I'm going to say. Something was missing. And even back in the township, something is wrong that I just cannot, I cannot touch or put my finger on. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, what is wrong? I'm living in these beautiful neighborhoods. And I have the grand chance more than anybody to try and take advantage of this opportunity and make something of it that sticks for long term at least. But I just could not do it. Like, it goes back to the old goal that I had. So let me tell you a story how this Joburg thing started. Let me take you back. So when I was 9 years old, I grew up with my two cousins. They have a father who is in Gauteng. Basically, he moved there when he recently divorced his wife. Right, not. So obviously, with his new life starting off in Gauteng, he had to come and take his children with him and to live with him or visit whatever situation that they had discussed at that time. I was 9 years old. I remember because he came, it was like a cloudy day at that, but the sun was peeking out. He came to take them, right? And there was three of us. We grew up together. We're so used to being around each other. And now I remember there was a discussion of like, what's gonna be my situation like now? What's gonna happen to me? What's gonna happen to the young girl? Do we take her along? But when they called me, when I was playing outside, they called me. I remember they told me the news that they were leaving. I was shattered, but at the same time I was excited because I'm like, that means I'm also going. And I saw my ticket. But my aunt was like, you're so young, you cannot go there. And this is their father, they have to go with him. That day, everything changed for me. Gauteng was everything to me. Gauteng is where I had to be. I found reasons. And I was following Nomakanya from Scandal, who looked exactly like me. She had an acting career at that young age. I was like, I could also have that. I wanted that. And everybody that was successful in the acting industry was in Gauteng. And Gauteng became where I needed to be at a very young age. So that's how Gauteng was born, birthed in me. So it started that day when I was 9 years old. I wanted to go to Gauteng. I told myself I'm going to live in Gauteng. So I guess the whole thing of like wanting to, like feeling like there's something missing in Cape Town, it has nothing to do with feeling like Cape Town, there's something wrong with Cape Town. It had a matter of like, it all goes back to everything has to manifest, everything has to come to life, everything has to be birthed. Every thought, every feelings, every ideas, every dream has to come true at some point. And sometimes our dreams come true like at a point where we are not expecting it, where we have something going on for ourselves, something greater, and we think nothing could go wrong from here. But the life, the laws of life has to come and disrupt that comfortability we've created for ourselves. So that's what happened to me. I was so comfortable in Cape Town. I had events, I had friends. All of a sudden, boom, I don't like Cape Town anymore. Something feels off because that dream had to come and realize. So that's my backstory of everything. That's the backstory of how at Cape Town was like the place that I started to hate. But I know some people that have opinions about the terrorism in Cape Town. I know I have a bit of a two cents about that on how I feel about the tourists in Cape Town. I feel like it's great the fact that we have tourists in Cape Town coming to support the city and coming to support the economy, creating more job opportunities. As somebody who did economics in school, I understand the importance of tourism, but it comes with a limit, guys. I don't know, maybe us as South Africans, we are so nice and welcoming into a point where this is so triggering because in my mind right now I'm thinking about the apartheid times, how that happened, how it came to that conclusion. But anyways, I don't want to be political in this video. That's not the main point, okay? That's not why I created this video, like to be political. I love politics, I love controversy, all of that. But that's not the main point. But the main point is Joburg has its own problems. I want to talk about that. Joburg has its own problems, guys. Like, ne? But Joburg has its issues, right? As I'm saying that. But I'm trying to find a way that I can put it. As much as Joburg has its own issues, the Cape Town issues are just, for me, are too much. I'm all about choosing your heart, choose the problems you want to have. And the Cape Town problems are just a bit too much for me. In Cape Town, for me, I spent 5 years in an illusion of life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would go to town, go to these events, but at the end of the day, I'm a black person. We might go and mingle there and be cute and be around these folks that don't look like us. But the truth of the matter is, Cape Town has history, and that history will still remain. You feel it when you go to the burbs. when people question if you belong there, while you are staying there, people are questioning it. Not only the folks that look like this, but the folks that look like you are questioning whether you belong to these neighborhoods. That's an issue for me. Like, did we not all get over the fact that time has grown by? It's been 30 years of freedom. What happened to that? But either way, it's like, to be political about this video, ne? It's like in Cape Town, we have time has flown by, nothing has changed. We have not grown. You understand what I mean? Things are still the same, just like back then. In so many ways. And it's like we live in such an illusion. I remember American friends came over to South Africa. I made some American friends, right? They were asking a lot of questions about race. They were asking a lot of questions about how this person is identifying as this. I guess it's their fault because they did not do their research on their side. But it's like, for us, I wanted to tell them at that time, the American people, like, guys, we don't talk about those things. You guys in America probably talk about the race card like it's nobody's business, like a free thing. We see these things here in Cape Town and we don't say anything. We talk about them behind closed doors, but you can see the microaggressions from the other people that are supposed to be identified as a certain whatever. But that's another story for another day. And you can see the division that is happening, but what can we do? You understand? I mean, we had a lot of political conversations with these American people, and I'm like, we act blind to these things here in Cape Town, and we just go on by that day because we already have our own struggle. We are not liberated to a point where we can actually express these things. You know what I mean? Um, so when I was living in Wiltshire, another thing that happened, like, right, my look, I feel like I can be identified as many tribes. You understand what I mean? I'm dark skinned. So it's not easy sometimes to guess which tribe I am. You understand what I mean? And I come to these spaces and I look different. And it's like, wow. I had a conversation with a neighbor in Woodstock and I was talking to her and she was literally shitting on my tribe in front of me, not knowing I'm exactly the tribe she's talking about. And don't ask me what did I say because I was like so shocked. I'm like bombarded at the moment, like, the fuck? She was like, your people are taking our jobs, they're supposed to go back to the Eastern Cape. I thought, I was like, no, that's another sign for me. I cannot do this city anymore. You understand what I mean? Some people complain about tourists coming to the city and not treating the local people very nice and not being well educated about the history of this country. I get that. But it be the own folks. I want this video to be political, but it's just like one of those things that hurts. I'm like, there are certain people that think they are better than the other person because of skin color. It's very sad. And it's like, for me, I am a, I lead with you are a person first than what tribe you come from or what language you speak. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that in the world, like, right? It does not work like that in the world. So it's one of those things. And also it's like in town, it's not the same. You understand what I mean? It's not the same. It's just a lot of things. And Cape Town for me has never been the same. I remember being so excited as a 20 something year old, like, oh, I'm in the city. You've made it when you're in the city. Ah, not anymore. Hey guys, my name is azola.saule. Welcome to my channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm a Capetownian, born, bred here. But I was born Ekapa. That's what I would call it because there's Cape Town and then there is the township. I was born in the parts of Cape Town that is not advertised the most, that is not glamorized the most. But either way, I just wanted to share my experience of living both in Ekapa and in Cape Town. And how I feel about this and why I chose to move to Joburg and leave the beautiful city of Cape Town. Am I crazy, right? But anyways, stick around to find out what I really think about this. Anyways, please put your comment down below.